Welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio, where you will learn about an issue minus the BS. We don't always say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear about the issues of the day. Here's your host, Inger, along with Elmo, with his political insight and commentary.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the one and only Brutally Honest Talk Radio. I am Elmo the Conservative. Inger is balling on the French Riviera. Not really, but she is indisposed and not able to attend, so what's the difference? And you are listening to Brutally Honest Talk Radio. And yes, I'm back because I never did front. And what we're going to talk about tonight, we'll get into in a minute. Right now, I just want to remind the YouTubers, subscribe and click the notification bell. Everybody else, like, share, and download this episode. For those that may already know, besides YouTube, you can catch us on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, as well as other platforms, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just do Brutally Honest Talk Radio search on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll come up there. I definitely want to comment on Whoopi Goldberg's comments about the Jews and the Holocaust. All right? And always try to give a different aspect of what you're hearing from other people, and something that you haven't heard anywhere else. Because I don't want to be redundant. I want to give you something new, something fresh, and a different angle. Okay? So we're going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg. We're going to talk about the dumbing down of Black History Month. That was kind of the only way I could describe it. And I'll let you know what I mean by that. And also, Joe Rogan. He's all over the place. Everybody knows that he's been in trouble for quoting the N-word, all right? Not him using it himself. I mean, not talking about a person or about Black people, but just in reference. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about, start off with Whoopi Goldberg. So on her show, The View, she said in a discussion that the Holocaust was not about race. It was about people mistreating other people, not being good to your fellow man. Remember, Barack Obama said that race is a social construct. So it's something that society puts together. It's not really a biological thing. Everybody's 99% the same. We got cultural differences, and we're not going into all of that, but race is a man-made thing. So first I'm going to play the comments that she made, and then I'll say a few more things about that. For those of you that haven't already heard, here's an excerpt from Whoopi's commentary.
Also, if you're going to do this, then let's be truthful about it, because the Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
But it's about white supremacy.
But it's not about
ideal race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Well,
How do we
after Black people
see them as white people?
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other.
All right, so that's enough. That's basically the gist of what she said. So I agree with most of that. The Jews during World War II, during the Holocaust, they were picked and used as scapegoats. Okay? The Holocaust teaches us in history what happens when a group of people don't have their own country, meaning they don't have their own government and military. It was very easy for Hitler to invade Poland. But honestly, a lot of Jews looked like the Polish and looked like the Germans. Many of them blended in. They had to have papers or identification, or they had to wear a mark, because many of them looked like other people. And that is the reason why so many Jews changed their names when they came to America 50 years ago, 75 years ago, because of discrimination. There was a lot of discrimination against Jews. And a lot of Americans forget that the Ku Klux Klan killed a lot of Jews. Right? So there's, from my generation or my parents' generation going back, just a few Jews that changed their names. The Three Stooges, they're Jewish, right? So like, I think, forgive me if I'm wrong. I think their last names were Horowitz and they changed it to Howard. So the Stooges were Jewish, right? Curly, Moe, and Larry Fine. His last name was like Feinstein or Feinstein, something like that. Had a Jewish parent and a Russian parent. Anyway, Tony Curtis, his real name was Bernie Schwartz. I don't know what Kirk Douglas's real name was, but he was a Jew. Edward G. Robinson, Jewish. Okay, Robinson is not a Jewish name. They did that to have success and what they wanted to do and just wanted to be treated like everybody else. So I understand that. So I don't have a problem with what Whoopi Goldberg said. And another thing, The View or the network, they suspended her for 2 weeks. If what she said was really that bad, then why are they only suspending her for 2 weeks? That's very curious to me. Is it a case where they have to do something to try to appease Jews that were offended or many other people? Most of the people who were offended by that or had a problem with it were not Jewish. It's just the time that we live in, the virtue signaling and all of that. So it's so bad and so offensive and racist or whatever is wrong. But after 2 weeks, come on back, Whoopi. You can come on back. It's okay. Forgive and forget. It's kind of stupid. So I don't think that people should have been twisted all over the place because of what she said. I'm not a fan of The View. I actually disagree with a lot of what Whoopi Goldberg has said. But, there are rare occasions where she says something that I agree with. And this is one of those times where I'm okay with what she said. Also want to talk about, we're in February now, and for decades, February has been Black History Month. So I saw something last week on a black network. I think it was Bounce. Not sure what it was, but like Fat Joe and this woman, they have this show now, and they're talking about different things going on in entertainment. It's an entertainment show. They're talking about things that are going on in society and that are trending, things that are popular. They have this pause for the cause. They have this moment where they stop for 30 seconds and they put up a picture of Mary Wilson. Our Black History moment for today, Mary Wilson from the Supremes, one of the most successful singing groups in history. And then you hear the applause from the audience, and then they go back to what they're talking about. This is really stupid, okay? First of all, in regular history or world history or American history, how often in a history class or in a history book do they talk about entertainers or singers? There may be some mention of Elvis, maybe some mention of Michael Jackson, but for the most part, it's having to do with history and politics and government and things that affected a multitude of people, things that changed for the good or for the bad. I've been seeing this. This is like Ebony magazine and Jet magazine going back for decades. They want to be a black magazine, but it's real surface. It's real narrow on the top, and they want to sell. And they know that many black people aren't interested in history. So like that has to be the peak of what we talk about when we talk about black history. We can't talk about Frederick Douglass or Charles Drew, or not just history isn't just full of heroes. It's also full of bad people. Okay? Brian Nichols is a part of black history. So is H. Rap Brown, Malcolm X, Nat Turner, and people that were not thought of as favorable. So let's just include all history. I'm about having one thing. That's how you have unity and togetherness. You have one thing. So I understand Black history had its place. It had its place with Black History Week and Black History Month in the 70s and the 80s. You know, it started first as Black History Week because there wasn't a lot of accomplishments of Black people and the parts played in the history books, that were written. So understand that. We need to get to a place where we understand that the accomplishments of any American is American history. So let's try to have an effort where the schools, you know, middle schools, high schools, colleges, what they teach in history has just put everything in there, because America is a cornucopia of races and people that come from different places or backgrounds that made a contribution or maybe did bad things, whatever it is. Just tell the whole story. You know what I'm saying? The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So it's just, you know, I'm tired of seeing that. Like it's real shallow. Like we had Mary Wilson on there, but we don't have, you know, they mentioned her, but they didn't mention one of the women from Hidden Figures that worked on NASA in the 1960s. Another thing that I've been thinking about, you know, I mean, and not just this year, I've been thinking about for a while, and the Emmitt Till story. The Emmett Till story came back up. And everybody knows the story or should know it, where this 14-year-old boy was visiting, I think it was Mississippi, visiting Mississippi from Chicago. He whistles at a black woman. He whistles at a white woman that he saw across the street. He was walking, you know, in the town square, walking downtown. Sees this woman, whistles at her, and the country of the South was so bad at that time, white people were threatened by this, took offense to it, and thought that, just thought it was either offensive or, you know, I don't know. Sometimes there had been this thing about black people integrating with white people, meaning having sex and having babies, and then the children lose their whiteness. And that's part of what it was. Whereas black people wanted integration to have the same rights as whites so that it will be equal, you know, equal for everybody. So a part of this story, like that night or the following night, some men show up at the house that Emmett was staying at. He was staying with some relatives. You know, that's why he went there. He was visiting with family, just trying to spend a nice summer with some family. These Neanderthals, these ignorant barbarians came and got him in the middle of the night. So here's a question that I want to pose. The man who answered the door, should he have put up a fight? Should he have given in quickly or easily when they said who they were there for? They said why they were there. We want this boy. You have a boy that's staying here, we understand, or whatever. You know, whatever the words were exactly, I don't know. But they came there to let them know. Now, the black family that he was staying with, the people that opened the door, they could not have thought that if they gave Emmitt Till over to them, that they were going to take him out and celebrate him and have a nice picnic and a spread and lay out a blanket and have some potato salad and baked beans and fried chicken and treat him, you know, let's welcome our visitor. They couldn't have thought that. I don't know if they knew that he was going to be killed, but they couldn't have thought that it was going to be anything favorable. So I'm posing this question because I think that they should have put up a fight. Did the man who answered the door, did he have a gun in hand? Did they have any firearms in the house? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't think that the man who answered the door had a gun in hand, though. So you might say, well, they couldn't have fought. They couldn't have put up a fight. They couldn't have stopped these men from going in there and taking Emmett. So let me ask you this question, especially the men. If someone came to your house in the middle of the night and they wanted you to hand your son over to them, and your son could be younger than 14 or could be 15 or 16, but they got mean grills, they maybe have weapons, got 2x4s, pipes, I don't know, but they're banging on the door and said, we come here for your son. With you not having a weapon, with you not having a gun, would you have let them come in? Or would you say, you coming in here over my goddamn body? You want to get to my son? You got to go through me. So I don't know if things would have turned out differently if this family, the men in that house had to put up a fight that night. I don't know. But at least it would have been some fighting back. All right, if I'm with my wife or with my children and something, some danger is coming close, some imminent threat is coming close, and it doesn't look too good for me or for us, it doesn't matter. The only way they're going to get to them is if they go through me, even if I don't make it. That's just an understanding of being a man and when it comes to family. So, I've never heard anybody talk about that, and I believe that they should have put up a fight. Last but not least, I want to talk about Joe Rogan and his remarks. I think this was years ago. I've been listening to Joe Rogan's podcast for like the last 5 years. I'd say about 5 years. He's had it going on for 11 or 12 years. I just found out about it or got into it within the last 5 years. It's a great show, one of the best podcasts that you can watch. My understanding is that they went back and they dug up some footage of him using the N-word. Let's stop being stupid. Why is the N-word something that black people have to own? We love that word so much that we want to keep it alive more than we keep hope alive. And we don't want anyone else to use it, even if they're quoting other black people that said it. To Kill a Mockingbird, when it comes on TV now, they cut the N-word out 50 times. They cut it up, shredded to ribbons. They edited so much. I don't think at the time when it came out, and for decades after that anyone thought that the author was racist. They're telling a story. You got to tell the truth. We got to slap ourselves in the face or splash cold water of truth in our faces so that we know the truth and the truth only. And that we're being honest with ourselves. So he quoted the N-word. Okay, and then Rogan had this apology video, and he seems to be a genuinely nice guy. I've never met him personally. I think he's one of the funniest comedians, like in the top 10 of the funniest ever. And if y'all don't believe that, please go back and watch his stand-up. I put him in the same group with George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. I guess it's debatable, but just very, very funny. I don't think that Rogan should have apologized because he didn't do anything wrong. He's got so much strength and so much momentum now, and I appreciate Spotify standing by him as they stand by me. That's one of the places you can find Brutally Honest Talk Radio is on Spotify, and they should stand by him. Free speech. This comes down to being a conservative or being a leftist. Leftists want to cancel stuff. They don't believe in free speech. They want to change the world so that nothing said is offensive. Whereas if I hear something that is offensive to me, that means that I have a problem. I'm the problem. I want people to say exactly what they're thinking. I want people to be honest. Now, people can be disrespectful. I guess it all depends on your intentions. If you're trying to hurt someone's feelings, but still, somebody's trying to hurt my feelings, I know who I am. I know who God is. I believe in God. I know the Bible. I'm a king, regardless of what anyone else says about me, regardless of whatever name they may call me. I'm a king. And it's not my job to try to convince someone else of that. So I just don't think that he should have apologized. And then going forward, nobody knows what's going to happen over the next 3 months or 6 months. But if Spotify turns the heat on and puts pressure, and more pressure comes in the future, in these weeks and months that are coming up soon, and they get rid of Joe, he is so strong. I mean, all of his episodes get tens of millions of views on YouTube. I don't know what his numbers are on Spotify. Probably more, because my numbers are more on Spotify, much more. That's really where most of the podcast community seems to go, is to Spotify. But if he gets pushed off, basically the same thing is going to happen. It's supposed to be happening with Trump, and Trump starting his own social network or his own social media platform. Rogan is a rich man. He could easily have his own channel, right? I mean, just like you have YouTube. He could easily have his own channel, his own place on the internet where people can go to see his show. So you can't stop him now. He's a huge boulder rolling downhill with the momentum of an avalanche. And he's obviously got a lot of fans and a lot of people following him. The end result, if he does start his own media company and his own channel, that's going to be more money for him. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for everyone that listens to and downloads every episode that we have. Surprisingly, Bangladesh, we got hundreds of downloads last month. We see our stats and we see the numbers. February isn't over yet, but last month, a small country, Bangladesh, we're resonating with them. I'm not sure why, but more than any other country, more than Canada, I think more than the United States. Please continue telling people about Brutally Honest Talk Radio and about Elmo the Conservative and Inger. Everybody, take care, stay warm this cold, chilly February, and we will catch you on the next episode. Take care.